Do pumpkins need more room to grow than squash?
Absolutely. They have a tendency to put more pumpkins on the vines, and then pumpkins are getting bigger these days. So we have a lot of really big pumpkins, but we have a lot of different shapes of pumpkins. We find that people really like a variety of nice orange pumpkins. So that's what we try to bring to them, and nice big stems because they have a tendency to break them off. But also we have a variety of white, yellow pumpkins, red pumpkins, like the Cinderella pumpkins, a nice vivid red color. People really like that. The things that people are really liking are really bumpy pumpkins, white pumpkins, and our recent thing just in the last couple years are yellow pumpkins. So bumpy comes from sugar that's being produced in the pumpkin, and there's like not enough room in the pumpkin, so it pushes out, creating these really great, cool, like warts and bumps. So they actually have bred a whole series of these pumpkins. They're referred to as super freak series because they're super freaky bumps apparently. But we have a number of them. We have knucklehead, we have goosebumps, we have scarface, we have gremlins. And they all kind of stem from a really old variety from France called Victor. It's also referred to as red warty thing, which we have. So it had little bumps, but what they did is just beef that up by adding it to that orange pumpkin to really get some crazy, crazy big bumps on them.
Some people may not have ever carved pumpkins.
Yes.
So how do you do that? I mean, how do you get them ready for carving?
Right. So that's a really fun process, and I feel like I'm a little kid at heart. I still love doing it. I still love sticking my hands in there. But you really have to find one that has a nice big opening on the top so you can cut it and be able to get your hands in there and get those seeds out, or use a spoon or whatever. Because you don't really want stuff inside if you want to light the pumpkin up. If you want to put a candle in there or whatever, flameless candles. It really has to be clean to be able to see the light through it. So clean it out, and then you can put stencils on there. You could freehand, you could just do smiley faces or angry faces, and then just put that candle in there, and I just love it. So our whole yard is just full of carved pumpkins. So
Do you put anything on them to preserve them?
that's a really great question. Petroleum jelly works amazing. So once you make the cuts, you just put a thin layer of petroleum jelly along the cuts. It'll keep them for a nice long time. The squirrels also can't smell the pumpkins through it. So I actually recommend that if you have a high squirrel pressure and you want to decorate with pumpkins, either spray them with cooking oil, like a nice layer of cooking oil. It also gives them a nice like shiny look about it. Or put a little petroleum jelly around them because the squirrels can't then smell the actual pumpkin on the inside. We are always looking for new orange pumpkin varieties, especially with big stems, because we've learned over the years that people will pick that up, buy the stem, it's not a handle, and have a tendency to break them off. So we're always looking for big ones that will not break. So all of our orange pumpkins have really great sturdy handles.
Everybody's going to wonder about this. What are some of the tricks of growing a giant pumpkin?
Yes. So your first trick is to get big growing pumpkin seeds. And they do advertise that. Some of the major seed companies will have certain varieties. One very old variety is called Atlantic Giant. But there are other varieties out there that you're going to spend a little bit more money on, and the seeds are actually big themselves. So first you have to get those. Next, you have to have a big space to grow them. You have to have a high fertility, and if you don't have high fertility, you have to water every day with fertilizer in them to really beef them up. Once they start growing, they need all the water and all the fertilizer they can get. People have a tendency to put like a growing cloth down or plastic just to keep them clean so they don't rot. Another trick is laying down a pallet underneath. Like once your squash starts growing, you lay the pallet down and it can grow on top of the pallet so you can move it later on once it gets big. Because it's not so easy to move giant pumpkins once you have them. We've used blankets and stuff to move some of our big varieties, but it is a lot easier if you prepare for it.
Jenny, what do you do with all of these gourds, squash, and pumpkins?
Well, first we decorate at the Arboretum. We put up a really great pumpkin tree. It's a tree, and we have a theme every year, so we'd love people to come out and see that. But we sell most of them through the Apple House. We try to get people to try new squash varieties, and we sell all of our ornamental pumpkins and gourds through the Apple House. Actually, we have stuff in there through the end of December. Apple House features a bunch of different great apples that are grown here on the property, so like Sweet Tango and Honeycrisp. So mostly it sells a lot of apples. They also have like other, we have grapes there as well, but the North Star Donuts is outside selling donuts from their cider apple donuts from their truck, and then we have our pumpkin patch there for people to come and pick out their carving pumpkins or decorative pumpkins.